Hello, 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 and welcome back to episode 3 of The Local Scene with DJ Brie. I'm so happy to be back. This is my second time trying to record this. We had some tech issues for sure, and I think I was looking at the wrong camera the whole time. So we're back, and we're coming in hot with a great punk rock band from Scranton, Pennsylvania, that I was so happy to be able to have a little one-on-one conversation with in real life, and then bring them on to the show. I'm just so happy that I was able to do that. So they are, of course, Pucker Up. What a fantastic band name for a great band from Scranton, PA. And they're made up of Tanner Snyder, the drummer, Shug, the vocalist, and Demi Belzer, who are best friends. Demi and Shug are best friends, and Tanner and Shug are cousins. So they knew each other before starting the band, as you'll hear them explain. And Shug, the vocalist, kind of had all these song ideas that she wanted to present before, coming to the band with kind of a set list to practice and record. And the rest is kind of history. I'm so happy to talk about kind of a little bit of the history of their band because they are quite recent as far as starting out with releasing music. They came out with 2 singles first. They did a couple things before releasing their album. I know they released Wicked Wicked as a demo, and they released Cry Baby, which I think are their 2 most popular songs right now on Spotify. And Cry Baby was the first song that I heard. I love their angry, direct approach and how everything is so obviously so personal, and it's definitely relatable. It's just everything you want in something like a local punk rock band, and their sound is very hallmark of other great punk bands, but they are very unique in their delivery. So I was just so happy to be able to sit down and talk with them, but I also wanted to highlight some of my personal favorites. So they released an EP called 3C with Wicked Wicked, Crybaby, and a song called Creole, all kind of in one little short EP. And then they released their album, which is behind me, their album cover right here. I want to kind of start doing that to have a little insight into kind of their look and branding, which is of course called I Hardly Know Her. And they have, they really expanded, I think, from their EP. Of course, their songs on their EP was also on their album, but they have a lot of highlights, which 2 of which are exclusively on the album that I want to play here because I thought that they were just, for some reason to me, they stood out to me the most, whether I was driving around listening to them or just going about my day-to-day life. They both of these songs caught my ear each time I listened to them. So the first of which would be Purple Gatorade, and the second called Crucible. And I think they're both very, for some reason to me, standout tracks. And I will be playing them very, very soon. I just wanted to thank Pucker Up, which, by the way, is all capital with an exclamation point to be completely clear, because we did talk, as you'll see in this interview, a lot about kind of from a marketing perspective how that can be frustrating. So if you guys book Pucker Up, make sure to do it right. It is not that hard. But I was so happy to be able to speak with them and highlight some of my favorite tracks. And about our little one-on-one interaction that we did get to have in real life, I did run into Shug, the vocalist, at a restaurant, and I was like, I think I recognize her, but didn't really want to say anything because I didn't know if it was going to be a big deal or not. But she volunteered to say hey, you should watch my band play, and I was like, of course I'll come see your band. I do kind of this interview style show, and she was more than happy to say hey, you should have us on. So I gave it a couple days, reached out, and everything worked out really great. And I was happy with their realness, how they were able to talk not only about their musicianship and songwriting process and everything like that, but also just about being a local musician and all the realistic challenges that, of course, will naturally come with that. Just being a day-to-day person also, and balancing playing really awesome shows with also doing things like working a day job and, going and putting your investments into recording and merch. So that side of things was also very interesting to talk about. It is, of course, awesome to talk about how you are, first and foremost, a musician, which I will always welcome on the show, whatever people are, comfortable talking about. But I thought it was also very real and cool to just dive into just the realistic side of it too. And you can tell these people really do love playing, local shows and the vibe that comes with playing in Scranton, Pennsylvania. So without further ado, I think I'll show you my first highlight favorite track off of I Hardly Know Her called Purple Gatorade. You've been getting high and lying all the time, 'cause that perfume ain't mine. I know where you're going, so won't hold on to you too tight. Not gonna beg for your love when you've already made up your mind. I'll make it easy for you, baby, that's what friends are for. I want you to leave me, honey, I don't want you anymore. Clarity on Linden Street, white t-shirt and messy cover, smiled at her like you were lovers. I mean, what a fantastic song, I think that was, for some reason, just something that stood out to me when I listened to the album. I think they are, such a versatile band, but all of their songs on their album sound cohesive, and like when you hear it, you'll know that it's a pucker up song. So I was so happy to be able to speak with them. I don't know how many times I've said thank you just for coming on and chatting for a little while, but without further ado, here is my chat with Pucker Up. Thank y'all for coming on, and I was really curious because you guys are kind of like from the local area, and people start projects in all different kind of ways. So I was wondering, first and foremost, like what brought you guys together as a band?
Well, that was a lot of that was Shug. I'm cousins with Shug. Shug and I are cousins, and we've been playing together for a long time. But this is the first time we really tried like making a band that was like us, not my mom calling her mom and being like, "Hey, can Shay like sing with Tanner, please?" But yeah, no, that's how kind of how Shay and I got involved together, and Shug and Demi are best friends. So
Nice.
No, we are sisters.
That's really cool that
Yeah.
you guys kind of were always friends, kind of coming together to make something really cool. And like just listening to your sound and stuff like that, I was kind of curious on like inspiration, like from a writing standpoint, especially songs like Wicked Wicked and Crybaby, kind of whoever's able to answer, like what kind of the inspiration behind writing those songs were.
For real life. All of the songs are literally like, I think I say this every diary, every like interview, but they're all literally just diary
Mm-hmm.
entries that were like mad, mad, ooh. And I know Crybaby, um, I think Crybaby was already written like when we started having practices. And then Wicked we wrote out of practice because we had like our first ever show coming up and we only knew like 4 songs. So we're like, we have to write another one so that we can fill out our time slot.
For sure.
So,
Yeah. Well, it obviously came together really well because I think that's one of like your most popular, like most streamed songs now. Um,
yeah, thank you.
yeah, it's kind of like a happy accident. So it was, yeah, no, it's a great song. And I totally get like writing from a diary entry kind of point of view. And then also kind of less of a writing, but more of just a titling standpoint because I love how like your sound is like obviously it's like angry, it's very like direct, definitely like not up for interpretation. Like this is what it's definitely about. Um,
Yeah.
but like from a like the tongue-in-cheek kind of like name stuff, like it seems like you guys have a lot of fun with that. So like names like Purple Gatorade, for example, I was kind of like curious on where titles like that came from.
Damn. There's so the song was written from an entry. That I wrote like in the bathroom of because of news that was revealed to me at and they have this drink there called the purple Gatorade shot, which I'm sure it's at other bars as well, but the three of us are purple Gatorade shot lovers.
Hmm.
So I honestly don't even remember how it came to be purple Gatorade. I think we like low key name dropped the bar and was
Yeah.
like we don't want to just call it Clarity or like something
Yeah, I was
fun.
curious about that, like that street. I'm like, I know that street, but like, is that the
Yeah.
street? That's what I'm thinking of. Okay,
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
cool.
So mhm.
Yeah, and just listening to you guys, I was curious too because I see some parallels with like other bands that I also really like to listen to. So I was curious if it was just coincidence or what your biggest like inspirations like other artists. Like, do you take your sound and get inspired, from other artists and bands?
I do. I know some of our wrists are definitely turnstile like heavy. We love turnstile over
Oh yeah,
here.
yeah.
That's a good like Tanner question. He does a lot of our like composing.
Oh, cool.
He's the music guy.
Yeah, I love Turnstile, of course. I just love anything that has like a really good groove. I have a lot of bands that kind of influence a lot of the stuff that I write. I kind of like have a list of few favorite bands that I love their songwriting. And when I'm like writing something, I'm like, oh, this kind of sounds like this band. And if I mix it with this band, I get a cool hybrid. So a lot of stuff like that. And just high energy. I'm trying to make something that makes people want to like rock back and forth.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I definitely got some Turnstile, kind of like before their latest album. I don't know if that's right, but like a little before,
Yeah.
like that kind of sound.
Yeah.
So yeah, what now that you brought up Turnstile, because I'm a huge fan too. What's your favorite song from them?
All pressure, full pressure is on
All the
turnstiles
full
listening
pressure.
right now.
I love drop because we play drop.
That's such a good
Um, and it's really fun to play that drum part.
one. Uh-huh.
I really like don't play because of the drum part and how it just swings the whole time. And I'm trying to remember the name of the song.
Poser!
I am a poser. I
Poser!
am a poser. Yeah. No. Oh my gosh, what's the name of it? It's gonna kill. I'll get it. I'll get it. It'll come to me.
All
I'm not
right,
gonna look it up. I have to remember it.
that's the determination if you're a real fan.
Yeah.
Valid. Anything off Nonstop Feeling for me is my favorite. I really like Bad Wave and Stress and Low-Key Love Lasso is like such a I love the groove of that one. It's so sad.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, Blue for me it was like I probably have to say Blue Bayou is the one I've been like listening to the most right
Oh,
now.
it's a good one.
It's kind of
That's a
just been
good
on
one.
repeat, but yeah, Don't Play is another really, really great track.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
that whole album I can like play front to back
oh
and
yeah,
then again and then again and then again.
oh for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I can definitely, hear that like in live performances and things like that. Just your inspirations really come through and it shows. For sure. So speaking of like playing live and stuff, what was it like being asked to play a show like Road to Warp Tour at the Ritz?
Absolutely crazy. It's actually funny. I was looking back on my Instagram a couple days ago, and there's this clip on there from us at the Steamtown Music Awards,
Mhm.
and we're doing an interview with Rich from NEPA Scenes, and we actually call out Warp Tour during that interview, like, "Hey, Warp Tour, we're calling, we're knocking, let's get us in there,"
Yeah,
and like we're on Warp Tour, so like the
crazy.
manifestation was put out into the universe, and now we're doing it, and it's kind of crazy. Like I'm still freaking out over it.
Yeah, that's got to be absolutely insane. Like to be like, just clear the schedule. We were playing Road to Warped. Because yeah, that's just got to be an insane thing that you kind of like predicted it. And even like other big shows too. Like there's even posters hanging up here at Marywood for Pennsylvania too.
Oh,
So
cool.
Oh
what
yeah.
are like was that just kind of like a mind blowing thing to be like, well, we're doing like playing two pretty big events, pretty close to each other.
Yeah, it's cool. It's weird and it's strange and it like I don't know. I try not to like hype myself up too much about it at least cuz then I panic.
Hmm.
So it's cool. It's chill.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like, yeah, the crowds kind of treat it like any other crowd, right? You know, it's like kind of just chill local people, and that's all you kind of have to make of it to not like get the nerves like too worked up or anything. Just
Yeah.
for sure. And when you guys do play live, I was wondering if you guys had like a favorite song. It could be one of your own, it could be a cover. Do you have like a favorite song to play live?
Mine is probably either Crucible because I like the slowed down like sludgy parts of it.
Hmm.
Humiliation is fun for the technicality, and then Creel just has like the
Shut
best
up.
like groove.
You're lying. All of
What?
our favorite song to play is Solitude. We have a new song coming out.
I can't talk about that one
Spoiler.
yet.
Yeah, we can. Like,
All right,
what?
yeah, Solitude is sick.
Nice, nice. Some exclusive spoilers over here for the future. That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
really
that's
cool. And like with just seeing like the lineups for bands like, you know, that are next to you guys on the bill for those shows, I was wondering like, is there a band that you saw on the bill with you guys that you're excited to play with?
for Camp Punk or for Warped Tour.
For either one, we'll do both. We'll do one for each.
Ooh, damn, Scowl for Camp Punk.
For sure.
I'm like geeked about that. We like didn't even know that they were playing, so that was cool when they like announced it because we found out with everyone else.
Yeah, for sure. That's really cool. And then for Road to Warped Tour, I was really shocked that they got a lot of bigger bands to play local all in one day. That's actually going to be crazy. Like to have so many per day that are so iconic. So is there anyone there too that like you're hyped to play with?
I'm hyped on Memphis Mayfire.
For sure.
They're like the first band that got me into like the Warped Tour scene, the song The Sinner, and it was like the only band I've ever crowd surfed for, and it was for the song The Sinner by Memphis Mayfire. So now to be opening up for said band is like this loop of Warped Tourness that's in my life. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I guess are you guys like looking forward? Is there any particular like place or whether that's a location, a venue, a festival that you guys would want to play in the future? I know it's kind of crazy already. You guys are playing Warped, but like, is there any other as you look forward to continue touring and playing?
Everything.
Yeah.
All the festivals.
No, Demi and I really want to go to Miami specifically to like what is it, Gramps, the venue. Yeah, and I think all of us really want to play in California someday.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
Please take us on tour, please.
Yeah.
For the love of God.
I don't want to clean movie theaters anymore.
no, seriously, like, come on, get these guys out there. They're awesome.
Crazy
Um,
transitioning from like going to a show to then like clocking in at no shade to, but it's like,
yeah.
and then people are like, "Are you in that band?" And I'm like, mm "Yeah."
No, yeah, I didn't know if like I wasn't gonna bring it up if you didn't say. I was like that's kind of
No,
like
it's
caught me
so
first.
fun.
We were talking. I'm like, I think I recognize you, but I didn't want to say. Um, but I mean, yeah, that's got to be kind of a weird dynamic to have like one day you're doing something really huge, and then the next day you're kind of just like, I'm just like working a day job, and I totally get that, from a student's perspective who's trying to do everything in media. It's kind of
Mhm.
a weird back and forth.
Yeah, the highs and the lows.
I've seen you guys, your different performances and stuff, and you guys have a really cool look performing on stage. So I was wondering if you guys have any, whether it's just like inspiration or like where you get the ideas from and stuff to do like your on stage. I don't want to say persona, but look. It's just really really cool. Is that like a personal thing or is that like, something that you saw other uh, groups do and you wanted to kind of emulate that?
I would say a personal thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, we honestly don't look for much inspiration outside of um, like ourselves in the
Hmm.
basement. It's cool when sometimes things like happen. I don't want to say accidentally, but maybe like subconsciously, like with the songwriting process and whatnot. But even that, like, I don't think we've ever explicitly been like, I want to sound like Turnstile or I want to sound like Paramore. I want to sound like. Sometimes we just write the song and it's like, oh, that's little 14-year-old me, like trying to sneak out. through like all the emo and hardcore and cool music that she listened to, and I think maybe that's like the same with our fashion. Is like, I don't know, we can't really dress like this day to day,
Yeah.
so it's cool when we get to put the big boots on and draw stars on our eyes and play for people.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
like, when else are you gonna do it?
Yeah. Perfect excuse to get out there and yeah, like have your own cool look. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
take any chance to get gussied.
I'll totally get that too. Yeah, so as far as, like just like writing, and I know because your songs are so personal and you guys kind of take everything from, your own lives, I was wondering too, like, would you guys ever like collab with anyone on a song or like is anyone specific come to mind, or are you guys focusing on kind of just taking everything from your own personal creation?
Collab, you say?
Yes.
Labs. Interesting.
What?
Oh,
Yeah, we
there's something
have.
coming and I like spoilers.
Yeah. Yeah, we have something coming with an artist that we really admire. So that's cool. In the future, I'm definitely not opposed to collabs. That'd be like sick. I know like we've talked about we really want to do like split albums and like split EPs and releases and stuff with like some of the other locals that we love. Like Catching Yetis is a new one that we'd love to like do a joint project with. If Kansas Had Trees, Foch, all the local homies like that we're kind of coming up in the scene with to one day do like stuff with them would be really cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's interesting you say split album. I did an interview with another local band, and they did mention about a split album coming soon with another local band. So I wonder if that has any connection, possibly.
Who knows?
But that was really cool to just see everybody who like just likes making music locally come together and be like, "Hey, you want to do something together?" And then they get together and record and make something awesome. I was also kind of wondering because you said you have something coming out with other bands. You have a new song coming out. So is that in the near future, or what can listeners kind of look forward to as you guys kind of continue to write and record new stuff?
Oh God, I don't know. Wherever our wallets are able to,
For
to
sure.
take us, recording is so expensive
Yeah.
and time consuming. Um, I think our next project, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're trying to do like a live show drop on like Bandcamp, um, like where we just kind of have like the live recordings from the board on a show that we play to be available. It'd be cool to get into the studio. We got some homies that are, trying to record with us and whatnot, so
Cool, cool.
it'd be cool to get that in.
Yeah.
But a lot of it, since we are like day job folk, a lot of it does come down to like scheduling. What can we afford?
Yeah.
We should get like merch and stuff too, which who knew that was so expensive? God. But
Yeah. I mean, you guys are so real about that. That's like not even trying to sugarcoat it. Like, that's how it is, trying to get together with people just because it's not all music all the time when you're just like starting out trying to do something
oh God, no.
home. It's, trying to balance those schedules and everything. You said like the recording process can be pretty lengthy. Bouncing off of that, like, what was there a particular song that took like a really like long time to, like record and get out, or was it kind of like the album together kind of all at once?
I'd say kind of like the album. The songs that we had written to go into the studio with, we developed over the entirety of the creation of the band, and it allowed us to like really play them out and gauge like, okay, the crowd likes this part but they don't really move around for this part, so how can we switch it up to make it more exciting for the listener. And it definitely helped having them kind of pre-done beforehand. I know that when we were writing like Humiliation, for example, we cooked on that song for like a month before we even attempted playing it out. So like a lot of the new stuff that we are writing comes down to like us just being able to sit down in the basement together and work on the songs, which is hard to do when you have jobs and you play almost every weekend.
Yeah, that's very real, very true.
I think the album overall was like difficult because we ended up actually re-recording it like 2.5 times. like we were recording from, what was it, like November to March or something? Or
Yeah.
maybe March to some, I don't know. There were things that we were realizing as we were recording it, like, oh, that doesn't sound right. Because things sound different, like live. There's a lot of like, you know, distortion and shit. Sounds great live, but then when you play it in the studio and you listen to the tracks back, you're like, oh, actually, the guitar sounds up, and like these two instruments are not meshing well right now. We have to fix these notes and change those. So we had to do quite a bit of that in the studio so that the album didn't sound too funky.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask about that because Tanner was just talking about how the crowd response affected how you guys switched up some of the song the composing process on that. Was there ever a song that started out like completely, totally different, and then because of like maybe how it went live, or just because you weren't working with it on the first draft, like it turned into something completely new?
Yeah.
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 There's like 7 different versions of Ode to the Uncomfortable.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That was like the first song I wrote, like before coming to the band, being like, hey, we should start a band. Like, I've always really enjoyed writing music, but mostly for myself. Like, a talent show here or there. But that was like, I wrote it acoustically, and then we brought it to the band, and then played it kind of the same way that it was written, and then like just kind of as we wanted to play more high energy stuff, it wasn't really like fitting in with the rest of the things we were playing. It got shifted around a bit, but I'm happy with how it sounds now.
It's like one or two more quick questions too, because listening to the entirety of I Hardly Know Her, there's some pretty cool samples. I don't know if they're samples from other places or Tanner, if you did the intro to one of those songs.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, where did that come from? Somewhere I know, or is that like something that you guys came up with as an intro?
Well, Pucker as a song, to me when I think of the song and the way it's written, the whole thing's basically like a voicemail to your ex. And that intro is kind of like the start of like the voicemail. You're hearing the voicemail back, and like the entirety of the song is, do you have space for me? Can I like squeeze my way back in?
Yeah.
Um, Trying to convince your ex, to give you attention.
Gotcha. Yeah, well
Yeah.
that's really like the way that turned out was just great. Like I remember the first time listening through it and I was like, "Whoa, wait, hang on. What's going on?"
What's this?
Yeah.
Who's Brad?
Yeah. But yeah, it was really funny. And for the last that um a question I meant to ask when I first started doing these, and I've made it a point to ask since because it's something I always am curious about. Because band names come from all different kinds of weird places that you wouldn't expect. So, why Pucker Up? And the exclamation point specifically. That is a point. Why that band? Why that band name?
Why pucker up? I don't know.
I don't
There's
know.
like a list. I had like a list because we were like, oh, if we're gonna be playing together, we should have like a name or something. There were a couple contenders, but when brought to the group, Tanner and Demi were, and then the exclamation point is because there's another band called Pucker Up that doesn't have an exclamation point. There's actually like a couple musical. I mean, you know how that goes. You know how it goes. There's a couple musical projects that have the same name. But we were like, well, just in case, we should
Yeah.
have an exclamation point so nobody gets us confused. Most of the people forget the exclamation points anyway on the flyers, which is so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah, from a branding perspective, that's got to be like,
It's like super frustrating. That's
Yeah.
like our biggest pet peeve when a flyer comes
Exactly.
out and we're like, they forgot the exclamation point to the point where like it's literally our Instagram bio.
yeah, I know.
There's an
It's like,
exclamation point.
I
So
gotta imagine the
mostly
fact
make
that that's
fun.
like a
Yeah.
specific thing. Yeah.
The underground crazy reason. That'd be. I wish we had like a cool story about it. Maybe I should make one up.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
could be like, yeah, this all came from. This, it all started in the summer of '69.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Just make up a new origin story every time you go on to explain.
Yeah,
Long time ago.
yeah. We're a bits band, so that could be definitely a big bit band. So that could be a fun bit to add.
Well, I'll make sure to include the exclamation point and make it as clear as possible that you are the 570 pucker up.
Thank God.
Yes.
For sure, for sure. Thank you guys for coming on and chatting. Is there anything else you guys want to say, promote, ask, anything before I wrap up?
Go to shows on Booked by Brats. Support your local scene. Every small band or every big band was a small band first, and they played local shows. So support the people around you, even when they suck, and maybe even especially when they suck, so that they can play shows and get better. Don't be a poser. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on this.
It's what we're editing. It's all good. It's all good.
Okay, period. Don't be a poser. And I think the big thing is just like support your local scene. That doesn't have to mean us. Just like support your local scene because there's so much talent out here that deserves to be acknowledged. So acknowledge it.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. It was awesome to have you guys. I am excited to throw this together in an episode and, put it out there. Yeah, and to get this kind of started up because I really want to put this one day. I'm at a 91.7 VMFM. I kind of want to maybe broadcast these out one day for the next semester in college. So thank you guys for helping with that.
Of course.
Yay!
And yeah, y'all have a great night. Good luck with the rest of your shift or whatever y'all are up to. So
Yeah. I gotta go back to cleaning.
yeah, best of luck to you guys. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Rob. What great people, and just so fun to talk to. I hope to catch their next show. I was going to try my best to make Road to Warped, but if that doesn't work out, I'm going to swing by the next local venue that I see with their name on it and listen to both them and everybody else on the bill. As always, as they said, support your local scene, no matter where that may be, because there's so much undiscovered talent that, sometimes never gets to be discovered without the opportunity to have a great audience and great listeners who appreciate that talent. So very, you can tell they put a lot into their music. So I think this would be a perfect time to showcase my other highlight track from I Hardly Know Her. So a little sample of that for you. This is Crucible. I'll break my fingers, shatter the bones before I dial your phone. I'll break my fingers, shatter the bones before I dial your phone. Yeah, break my fingers, I would rather be alone. Yeah, break my fingers, I would rather be alone. Such a great song. I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. When I first heard it, I was so, I don't know, something about the swing of it, kind of like as Tanner mentioned, I was just like, yeah, there is something that is like really stand out about, listening to it. I always appreciate having a lot of drummer friends, appreciating the drum track in a song, and I think that is what really stood out to me. I was just so happy to talk with them and to be so real with them. I was a little nervous to have them, come on because I was such a fan of their music, but it was just so comfortable to be so real in their both day-to-day life and their music life as well. So if you can, definitely catch them at the Ritz Theater in June on the Road to Warped Tour, Washington, D.C. They are such a great act to see perform, especially alongside so many other great acts like Memphis Mayfire. I mean, that's insane that we're going to get so many great bands coming to the local scene and the local area. So I'm really hyped for that. And then Punksylvania as well. There are a ton of posters I know posted even around here that, kind of just as a reminder, like, hey, if you can, go see it. It is in Gilbert, Pennsylvania. There's so so many bands playing, and that means a lot of opportunity to discover new acts and new music and new people who share the same interests. So thank you all for watching. Go listen to Pucker Up with an exclamation point and listen to their album, catch them live if you can, and I will see you guys on the next episode of The Local Scene with DJ Brie, and subscribe to the show if you haven't already to catch up with everything local music.